It doesn't work, I
told you! Package from MODE Aquarium just arrived, and this should be the ATO container. There we go. I'm not sure if there's a top actually. I think this is either 5 or 7 gallons. It actually makes for a real interesting tank if I want to set this up.
The next day.
Alright guys, so here's the glass ATO from MODE Aquariums. This is actually a really interesting dimension. I would actually love to use this for a planted tank. I think it has a lot of different possibilities. But we have an issue. My plan is to put this on that side right here, and I'll show you guys. So what I could do is shift all the sump over as much as I could until it hits a pipe. So look from here. You see that pipe right there, the emergency drain?
Oh, the pipe that I made?
Yes, the pipe that you made.
If I made it, I assembled it.
If I move as much as possible over there until it hits the pipe, right there.
Oh, perfect.
It would just fit.
What's wrong with that?
But my issue with that is, like, if you look at a pipe right now, it's being pushed up a little bit, you see? So it's slanted up. So it's not, I mean, it's resting against this. It should be okay, but I don't feel super comfortable with it. So for the last 2 or so days, I was thinking of different ways to do this. My solution is either number 1, get a new pipe, extend this pipe so it's a little bit longer, so we have a little bit more space to push all the sump over. Or I just kind of accept the fact that the sump is going to be the only thing under the stand. And we'll just have a little space left and right? And then we'll keep the ATO container, most likely a different container that's a bit larger, on the side like this. Just accept the fact that it's going to be outside the stand. Or if you push back a little bit more, move back a little bit more. The plan is to have the workbench right here on this side next to the tank, right? So I would have space under the stand. Right now where the sump is, I'll move the sump to one side and put a container down there as well. So there's different possibilities that I can play with.
It's not possibilities, all ugliest that you're making.
So as I was watching this, getting ready to kind of glue everything down, one of you left me a comment that blew my mind. The solution is really simple. He comment said, instead of moving the sump to the left, why don't you just move the sump to the right and place a container to the left?
Okay, that's too over.
I mean, come on, how did I even not think about that? That's ridiculous. All right, so come back here. Seriously, when I watch it, I'm like, what? Because for some reason, because the return pump is here, I always thought I want the container sitting right here. And also because ODI unit is right on the other side of this wall, so I always thought, okay, container gonna sit on this side, I'm gonna push all the sump over. So this right here, you see, it's against glass. Yes. So that's the issue, right? So let's try the other solution in 3, 2, 1.
Then you break it.
Bam. Thank you. Thank you so much for leaving the comment, telling me how stupid,
You're stupid, yeah.
Thank you for leaving the comment, implying how stupid I am in a very, very nice way. And it's a really constructive comment as well, so I really appreciate it. So the next big question is that, okay, this container is pretty small for a big size tank like this. Eddie told me that this container will usually last maybe like 4 or 5 days without having to refill it. One thing that I may try is to have it auto fill. This is something that my Reef Sensei Telegram suggested. So I think this actually looks nice. Yeah, this would work. Such a simple and elegant solution. My friend, I should really look up your name first before I make this video. You know who you are. You're a genius. I'm just really dumb. Going to bed, gonna glue everything down tomorrow, and then we're gonna get this tank filled. I'm super pumped. Thank you again. Later.
2 days later.
In terms of cement I'm gonna use for the PVC, I'm gonna use this guy right here. This is actually a fantastic tip from Reef. So with the 150, we were using the regular PVC cement to glue the pipes together, and the thing sets like almost instantly. You get like freaking like 4 or 5 seconds. That was really stressful for somebody who does not know anything about plumbing like me. This guy right here, the difference is like, it sets in maybe like 15 to 30 seconds or so. So I have some time to kind of play with the angles and to make sure everything looks right. There you go. Man, these grip pads has been the MVPs of this build, seriously. Let's take a look. Yes, we do have a brush in the can. First one I want to do is this one. I'm gonna push it in and push this one in. Alright, and then we're gonna do the other side. I want to keep the text at the bottom. I could totally sand it off, but I think we can hide it that way. Basically, I noticed that some of the PVC was squeezing out in the middle, so I really quickly just used my finger to kind of clear those out. So I was using too much of these cements. Let's go ahead and do the other side. This time I'll use a little less. I feel like I was a little bit too aggressive. Making sure the pipe is clear too. I mean, this is the least I can do. At least this is what I can do now. The longer pipes won't be able to help it. So I need to perfect the skills really quickly. Wash my finger first, actually. Well, unfortunately, that pink hue is here to stay. So I gotta do a pretty good job cleaning it out before everything dried up. I mean, I'm sure I can like sand it down and stuff like that, but we'll revisit this. It's not bad, actually. It's just because I know it's there that it bothers me a little bit. Like right here. It's got a little pink hue. Like so. Seriously, these grip pad has been serious MVP in this whole build. Orientation is right close, left open. We're gonna apply a little bit inside. Oh, get in there. Yeah. Right here is good. I think at this point, just kind of cosmetic, but I just make it look nice and clean as well. Applying pressure for 30 seconds so it does not pop out.
One eternity later.
Here's the very last pipe that I have to glue down, and then the whole thing is pretty much set. I'd like to thank Matt from Gio Nation. He has been keeping me sane today while I'm plumbing this thing together with his vlog, specifically about coronavirus. I feel like I've been following his channel for a long time. When he had his office tank up, recently he has been kind of like my source of information for a lot of coronavirus stuff. And I'm just glad that him and his family's back in, I believe, Detroit. But it's really informative and for the most part non-biased in terms of information flow. So really appreciate that. Let's look straight. Tiny bit this way, just tiny bit. But yeah, I've been following Matt's channel. It's close to like what, 3 or 4 years at this point, and he was definitely an inspiration to my YouTube channel. I think I was at like maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 subs, so it was like a while back. I just looked up to all the stuff he does because it's so beautiful. It really reminds me of like Casey Neistat. I remember leaving comments saying that he's the Casey Neistats of the reefing world because of the cinematic shots he got, all the nice B-rolls, and how he kind of inject those between his vlogging sessions. This is gorgeous. And I remember actually leaving a comment asking him what lens was he using to get all those macro shots, and he got back to me saying that I was using the 100mm macro lens, and that message made my day because like dude, you don't understand, like to me he is like, oh. So for him to get back to me, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. To this day, it still is. I feel like it's like, oh man, okay, that kind of gave me a little extra motivation to go that extra mile and kind of improve my videography a little bit. And because of his comment, I actually bought a 100mm macro lens, Nikon. I think he's using Canon, but Nikon has like almost like equivalent. So I went ahead and got that, and sure enough, it's a fantastic lens. Even though these days I don't really pull out my DSLR as much or at all because of that extra step of downloading it from an extra SD card versus just pulling it from my point and shoot. But I never forget that. I really appreciate it. And to this day, I have not had the pleasure of meeting up with him yet. But now that he's back in the US, at least for a little bit, I'm hoping that I may meet him in one of the future meetups. I know he attended a few of the Tidal Garden barbecues. And I remember last year, knowing that he was going to be there, I made it a point to really try to make it over there to meet him, and also Fang, because I haven't met Fang yet. He's also another guy that I really look up to. And also hang out with other reefers like Rico's. They're all from that area. But unfortunately, or fortunately, my son Leon was arriving last September. So we thought we'll just pause on all the traveling and just take care of the house before he arrives. This pipe is not exactly 90. I think I'm off by maybe like 2 degrees if I have to say, but I feel like it should be okay. It's downward pipe. And I'll try not to let that bother me. Says the man who's trying to adjust it now. Yeah, it's too late. Some of you guys recommended I did not glue down this last bit because the comment I get is that by leaving it just kind of like this, because it's not pressurized, it's just water flowing down, it should be okay. And by leaving it not cemented, I can easily take it out and it'll be easier to maneuver all the pieces. All the things that should be glued down are glued down. Nice hair, Moki. Good job with the hair. So one little thing I was concerned about is the return line is pressing up against the drain. But it's actually not bad. It's just slightly resting on it. It's not really putting any pressure on it. If it ends up rattling, I may put maybe like a little tab right there or something of foam to kind of have a little standoff. But for the most part, I think we're good. I know we're all a big fan of these fancy red PVC pipes, but I actually don't really like how it looks, because even with the weir, where's the weir? Even with the weir here, I actually get to see the red pipe. I feel like it's pretty obvious. It's gonna detract from the corals and whatnot. So some people are probably shaking their head, but I plan to spray paint that black. I'm torn about using this guy right here. If I use this, I think I need to drill a little hole at the top. Make it a Duracell drain, which will be like this. And if so, I'm probably gonna paint this black as well, so that everything's blacked out.
3 days later.
We are now filling the 135-gallon tank with our ODI water. Typically, people would do a test fill first to make sure there's no leak on any of the plumbing. They typically will use tap water, but you're at Inappropriate Reefers channel, so we do our water testing with our ODI water. If all looks good, we're gonna dump the salt in and we should be good to go. So I replaced the sediment filter and the really old hour filter. Those are most likely all clogged up. So hopefully this will go faster. Not to mention we got the booster pump. So we see the water trickling in now. Looking down here, we got the heart of the build. That is a coral box return pump. Over here, we got 2 of the 300 watts Phoenix titanium heater. It got its own individual controller, and one of them I'm gonna plug into an Inkberg for additional safeguarding. In terms of biomedia, I got 2 types at the moment. First, we got the new kits on the block from the eShops. This BioLux, this has been really popular. And right next door, we got the tried and true in Europe at least, the Sarah Spirex, God dang it. Please let me know how we pronounce this. Spirex? Anyways, this is really popular, especially in Europe. I believe this is recycled glass, so it's not actually ceramic like these guys and the Marine Pure block of spheres. So I get a chance to try both. Also, not to mention, up in the 45-gallon tank, I still have Marine Pure blocks as well as Marine Pure spheres. That'll bring them down here as well. And what? Hey, check this out.
What's this?
We're filling it up.
What about the sand?
It's all done. Sand, I'm debating whether to add sand or not. Do you like the look of sand or just bare bottom? Or have just like grass, like green style polyps?
With sand.
I know a lot of you guys want bare bottom, but I think the wife has
Stop
spoken.
playing me.
Yeah, I was debating.
2,000 years later.
I may look a little bit nervous because I am. Water, I think like, it's still a little bit low, but we can start turning it on and see what happens. I can make all the speculation, but let's just turn it on. We'll see.
Blow up.
Alrighty, here it is. For the very first time, I'm gonna turn on the pump and see if anything leaks. Here we go. Right, watch your space. If it drains too much. Oh, why is water squirting?
Wait, where's this?
So that's not supposed to happen, first of all. Oh, but look at
What's the
this.
fountain?
Look up here, look up here. Water is coming out. So we are good in that department. Let me pluck it with my finger. Oh,
Wait!
Fuck, there's an outlet. Yeah guys, we'll be right back. For a quick fix, we're gonna just zip tie this in place.
That's how it works.
Obviously in the actual one, we're gonna do something.
It took time one already. If it works, it works.
No, the other one is not really 1, 2.
It doesn't work, I told you!
Okay, take 2. The plumbing comes with this green pipe. This is a reminiscence of my all those like planted tank. They like to use green pipe because it like discourage algae growth. But as you can see, it just really sticks out like a sore thumb in the setup. So I'm hoping to find some clear pipe. However, this fits much tighter and we just get a little bit of water seeping out. I mean, ideally I should hard pump it, but until I'm sure this is the return pump I'm going with, I'm gonna probably just hold on to just use this setup for now. It's just kind of like a test run to see if this works, and looks like it's good. I think we're good. Water's coming out. I think water's still being pumped, so it's not. Is it draining? Well, it's draining now. Let's take a look. Nope, not yet. Water's not draining yet. There we go. Water's now coming through, and not enough water down there. Yep. Pump is running dry. All right, I need some more water. What I'm doing right now is actually draining the overflow box because I was doing some research on the proper height for a Herbie setup. Let me bring you guys a little bit closer if I could. The right side, for the Herbie setup that I have in mind, I'm thinking to go maybe like about 1 inch or 1.5 inches underneath the weir. So from what I understand is that we want a certain amount of water to kind of go into the main drain when we restart the pump. Just so that it'll restart the siphon and push out all the air. So that's a goal. We'll cut this down about 1.5 inches to roughly around here. Well, I'm gonna cut 2 inches, so it'll be roughly around here. So it's about 1/2 inch below the weir, and then I'll measure about 6 inches underneath the emergency pipe, and that'll be the height of the main drain. We're gonna cut it 2.5 inches to start with, see how that looks, and then we'll adjust as needed. So with this, ideally is 6 inch. However, this whole thing is barely over 6 inches. It's like about 7.5 inches right here. So in a lot of pictures I see, main drain is about half the height. That's the emergency. So maybe I'll cut it from here and we'll see how it goes. And we'll adjust from there. The tricky part is that these are not just regular PVC. These are metrics. So a bit tougher to buy locally if I screw up. So I'm kind of nervous about it. This one goes back here. Here we go.
Moments later.
All right, hold on. All right, recording right now. Hey, what's up, guys? So we are about to plug this in. I've let the water. Well, it took like what, 3 days on and off to fill this. At the same time, I'm doing live on Instagram. You guys can say hello. In 3, 2, 1. It's plugged in. All right, let me double hand this. Right here, we see a rush of water coming in. We got 2 little nubs. I do not have any nozzle at the moment. They're pushing water into the tank. Now, the interesting thing right now is that the return nozzle is actually lower than a weir, meaning that when I drain out, it actually drains with the return nozzle. And let's take a look at the back. Okay, all right, it's flowing through the back weir now. Who has a better view? And it's all draining through the main pipes. Water level in the overflow box. Actually, when I did a quick test run when I did not have enough water, I had the same thing. It's not really, overflow water level is not really raising up high enough to get to the emergency pipe. And actually, and like you guys saw earlier in the video, I actually cut down on the length of the emergency pipe and the main drain so that the emergency pipe is about 1.5 inches underneath the water level. And I want to make sure that, oh no! I noticed some water actually go right into the emergency drain. That's not a good thing, right? From what I understand is to close up the gate valve a little bit so that we can hopefully raise the water level in the overflow box. All right guys, so in an effort to kind of tweak the flow, because right now water is just gushing down and it's really noisy, I started closing up the gate valve in front of all of you guys on Instagram right now. I read the comment a little bit later. I'm supposed to do it a little slowly, but I already did like freaking 8/4 turns, like 2 full turns to close it. But I don't think there's much going on here. Water is gushing down and I want to raise the level in the overflow box. So let me go ahead and try to close this up a little bit more. I did full quarter turn, so I assume that's almost one more full turn. I don't know how much it close by. And we'll wait a little bit, give it time to settle. I guess in the meantime, I'm gonna talk to you guys on Instagram and catch up with some comments.
1 hour later.
All right, guys, I have to say I do not enjoy this fine tuning process. I'm shot. I'm so beat. It's been a long day, but let me show you what we got so far. Thanks to a lot of people's help on Instagram, actually. The water sound has lessened considerably. And the fun part is actually tuning back here. It's not great. It's not right, actually. You see that there's still a little gap, maybe an inch gap between the water and the pipe. And what I've been doing with a lot of you guys watching is like closing up the gate valve. As I close the gate valve, the water level comes up a little bit, and I'll discover too much water is rushing into the emergency drain at that point, and I have to open up the gate valve to let more water drain into the main drain. And at that point, the water comes up too low, like this. So it's kind of like an on and off process. And looking at it right now, I actually step up the return pump to power 3, which looking at this right now, it may be a little bit too much, because now I see water splashing right into the emergency drain versus it wasn't doing that before. So I think what I'll do, I'm gonna turn the power of the return pump back one step. I think that may be the perfect balance, at least at this moment, until I figure some things out. We're gonna close up the gate valve. About half a rotation. And this is interesting because like one of the premise that when we were setting up the 150 is that do we even need a gate valve when Oatey pump DC pumps, and we can adjust the power of the pump, right, without having to use a gate valve. So does that make this redundant? But after actually using this to tweak, I don't think at the moment at least this pump has enough fine tuning to make adjustment like this. Okay, so now see right here, water is rushing down the emergency line. It should be a fine trickle, so that means that I need to open up the gate valve just a tiny bit. And this is what I have been doing for the last 20 minutes. It's ridiculous. There got to be an easier way. All right, guys, so as you know, I've been doing things in reverse. So the next thing for this tank is actually, I think I'm probably gonna add, salt, and I will do sand. And I'll also explain why did I decided to do things kind of in reverse, because like typically you want to add sand first, add rock, and then add the water, well mix the salt water. But I'm kind of doing things a little bit in reverse, and I will share why I do but it'll become a little bit more clear on why I think do things in reverse. Man, I can't speak tonight, so I'll see you in the morning. What's the secret, man? You've been winning everything. What's going on?
What? I don't know.